Hello and welcome to my video overview of how you can install the OOOCTA 35 out of office configuration tool on Windows Server 2008. In the previous installation part I took you through the same process with Windows Server 2003. I'm covering 2008 because the installation is slightly different. Basically what I hope to achieve by the end of this video overview is give you the tools to put a working copy of OOOCTA on your 2008 management server. Looking at the properties of my test server in my rig, you'll see that I'm running Windows Server Standard 2008 Service Pack 2, and like before, this management server conforms to the prerequisites that are included in the OOOCTA 35 installation manual, e.g. has a local copy of SQL 2008 Express Edition on, PowerShell 2, Exchange Web Services, Exchange Managed Services API, etc. etc. So, just like in the installation for 2003, I've downloaded the OOOCTA setup binaries to the desktop, and I double click and I'm presented with the welcome screen, and I click next. I accept the default path as in the previous install. You can change it, but I recommend for simplicity and supportability reasons just to leave it at the default. Click next and install. As you can see, OOOCTA is complete. I now, on my server, go to the installation location. As you can see, we've got OOOCTA 35. I jump into the configurations tools, and within the configuration section, as you can see, I have the configuration tool binary, which sets up a number of things for us. So open a command prompt there, and expecting two parameters, which is the location of the ASPX files, and the second parameter is the location of the OOOCTA service. Enclose the paths in quotes to support long file names for the application. So currently we're in C program files, OOOCTA 35, and the folder is interface, and for the server, program files, OOOCTA 35, service, and I hit enter, and you can see here within the window it's detected that our server version is 2008, and what it's essentially done here is that in the 2003 install, the service user, which I'll show you in a minute, is placed within the IIS_WPG group. That group doesn't exist on local 2008 servers, it's superseded. So the actual configuration tool here detects that it's a 2008 box and moves on, and basically doesn't throw an error in this program window here. So if we now have a look in our Active Directory and perform a refresh, we'll see that the service account has been created. And if we have a look in our Internet Information Services area and do a refresh, you'll see that the application pool is present, and on the website, if we do a refresh, the OOOCTA interface directory is present as well. Now, you may need to check SSL settings and remove them for that directory. You might not to, depends whether your website is configured to use SSL or not. Mine does use SSL, but I do not want SSL switched on for that interface directory. What I now do is I go into my Exchange Management Console, and I want to create a mailbox for the OOOCTA service account that we've just done. So I jump into the recipient configuration mailbox. I choose new mailbox, user mailbox, an existing user, and I have a look for the service account. Click OK. Next, I choose a mailbox database, which I will put in this one. I click next, new, and the mailbox database is created. I now jump into organization configuration, and I choose Add Exchange Administrator, and I basically have a look for the service OOOCTA domain account, I select yes, and basically click OK on it. I want it to be an Exchange Organisation admin role. I click Add and Finish, and the user has been granted the correct permissions there. I now jump into my services configuration, and within services I should find an entry for the OOOCTA command processor. Open it up, select Logon, and as I mentioned before in the 2003 install, the actual registration of the service doesn't register the password. So what I do here is I type it in. The password is located in the user manual, and the reason why I enter it manually is because I found during testing it's easy to allow the services MMC to assign the logon as a service right. You'll notice the service isn't started by default, and the reason for that is it allows us to configure some other areas, such as, funnily enough, the service password, and what I'm moving on to now, which is the SQL details. So going back to the binary install folder, double clicking, I go into the SQL scripts area. Now what you might want to do is, within step 1 here, is check the actual physical paths, which are here and here, for your SQL database and transaction logs. In essence, you will need to customize these paths within this script before you actually run the main batch file, which I'm just about to do in a minute. These should be changed to locations on your server. So going back up here, I execute this command here, runs through, and what we'll find now is, if we go into our SQL Enterprise Manager or Management Studio, when it fires up and we connect, you can see that the OOOCTA DB is present with all relevant tables created, and under security we have an OOOCTA SA login, which, when you check the properties of and user mappings, you will see has DB owner rights as appropriate on the OOOCTA DB. What we can now do is go to our IIS site and browse to, in essence, ensure that the actual ASPX files have been installed correctly and that the application pool is working correctly. And if we want to test the system, I recommend that we go to System Log, back into Services, start the OOOCTA command processor, and then double check what the system log is saying. If we get entries in the system log indicating a successful startup, then we have confirmed that OOOCTA has been installed correctly. And just to double check, we should get shutdown messages as well. So that's how you install OOOCTA on Windows Server 2008. Thank you.